So, three-star diamond, so excited to jumpstart the week once again with these amazing calls. First and foremost, I kind of want to go over the incentives for September because they are so exciting. So if you guys have not shown your coaches or told your coaches about these, holy cow, they have to hit Success Club 5. It's a $300 value, and they get so much of the P90 line. So really, that's a huge incentive and nothing we've ever really done before. So please take that excitement to your team because it's a huge opportunity. Plus with what Carl is doing as far as donations. So if you haven't seen what Carl is doing as far as Beachbody Live today, please check it out because it is pretty stinking awesome. So with that being said, real quick, I kind of want to go over last week's call. It was on creating consistency and following your dreams. How do you guys kind of feel like that topic, how did you guys kind of put that into action last week? Do you have any takers? Nobody? None of you put it into action? Say what? Angie, I'm going to call you out because I know you'll talk. So unmute yourself.
I can't even see my screen right now. Something has just went weird with my computer. Like it's completely black.
Well, I can see you.
Okay, sweet. Okay, sorry. Ask again. I was trying to figure out why I can't see anything on my screen.
You're fine. So last week's call was on creating consistency and following your dreams. Was there anything that you kind of took that into your business or with your team?
I just went over my vision again with them and just kind of reiterated, again, this is what's possible. You be consistent. You put in the work. This is what I'm working towards. What are you working towards? Why are you here? And so we just kind of had a little mini discussion about that. And then just showing them what's possible, if they stay consistent. And, a lot of the new coaches feel like, and they have said to me, I just feel like I'm never going to get to where you're at. And I'm like, I remember feeling like that. And so I think it's just important to bring us down to their level often and just show them, hey, I had weeks where I made $16 and, now I'm making $1,600 a week. And so it's like, you have to just keep showing them what's possible and just keep telling them, just keep staying consistent, stay true to your journey and, sharing your vision often.
So true. Love it. Thank you. And we always wonder what the secret sauce within this business is. And Carl says there's no secret sauce. There is. It's called consistency. That's the only thing it is. You stay consistent with whatever you're passionate about in life. I promise you will be successful and you'll be able to help so many people along the way. So thank you for chiming in there, even though I called you out. Thanks, girlfriend. So without further ado, let's kind of get this call started. So I'm really excited because Breen Hardin, first and foremost, she's a 3-star diamond. What's so super cool, she's ranked number 181 within the network, which now we're at about 370,000 coaches. I haven't seen the actual number today. After August, it might be 375. But basically, she has almost all of her points for elite. She's missing 4, so clearly we're going to get that in this last month. So you have all your elite points. She's nearly doubled her volume from 2014, which is incredible. And also, she's capped both SC, PSPV, and she has created 4 diamonds so far this year. So needless to say, is she successful? Oh my gosh. And let me tell you a little icing on the cake. She's pregnant. She's about 2 months away from having her first little baby. So is life crazy for her? Oh my gosh. But that's why the biggest reason why she's been so successful is because she has branded herself. She has been authentically her. And so I can't wait for her to tell us her story and kind of what she's doing to be successful, especially before this baby comes. So go ahead, Breen.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate it. Like you said, baby on the way. And I was thinking about it this morning and I was like, this year has been like pretty rough. I had really bad morning sickness for like the first 20 weeks and whatever. But I think by creating that brand and the consistency, like you said, it really is the secret sauce. And that's what has helped me to continue on. So just a few things that I was going to cover was just basically like, what is your brand? And maybe this is, can I mute that person, whoever's, or can you mute the phone person? Or is anybody else hearing sound? Is it just me? Oh, thanks. I just heard some feedback. I can't hear you talking right now though, so you're good. Anyways, so the biggest thing for me, I think, and my success as a coach has been creating my brand. We're all Beachbody coaches. We all have a team name, probably at this point. We all have a logo, but your brand is something more than that. And for the longest time, I kind of hid behind my logo. I hid behind my uplines logo, and super proud to be part of Fit and Fierce. And Megan, my upline's number 3, and I'm like, yeah, this is awesome. But I had to create something for our team, and something for me. And so really, I think about when I talk about a brand, when I talk to my coaches, I think about, what are people going to talk about when you're not in the room? How would someone describe your challenge groups? How are they going to describe your coaching, your encouragement? Would they refer you to someone else? Are they seeing positive outcomes? And are they having a positive experience? Because I think our brand is a huge, based on like feelings and that positive lifetime loyalty. So you're going to want these lifetime, I think Chalene Johnson calls them lifers, but people that are going to stick with you no matter what, because you make them feel good. So how do we do that? And for me, it's really being clear on what we do. We're all health coaches. We all offer challenge groups. We sell Shakeology, but what do you really do? What do you really offer your challengers? And that's something that I had to sit down and really, really think about. And it's not something that you're going to probably come up with immediately, or maybe, as a 3-star diamond, it's something that y'all have perfected. For me, it's something that I'm constantly reevaluating. But I don't know if any of y'all follow Hey Sweet Pea, but they are huge on branding. And I really recommend, I'll give them a little plug, but I love I think they call it their happiness tribe. They send out an email every week. And they have this branding course that I took, which I've really enjoyed. And they give this example of your dream house. It's called Hey Sweet Pea. So your dream house, and you visualize that, you see what's on the outside. It's beautiful. For everybody, it's going to be different. But then you think about what's on the inside. So you have your walls, your furniture, your decorations, and a foundation. And for your brand, you have to remember, again, that you're more than just a fitness coach. You have to have that foundation of your unique strengths. For me, I have to, and this is something that I've heard multiple times from some other top coaches, is really to focus on your strengths and forget your weaknesses. We can always improve those weaknesses, but really think about, what are you good at? And I tell that to my coaches is, what would someone come to you and talk to you about? What are you really passionate about? Your why. We obviously at Summit heard Simon talk about this, and I am not going to go into huge detail about that, but I love everything he has to say about that. And I think that's a huge part of your foundation with branding yourself. And then just really thinking about what your purpose is, what your vision is, and what makes you different. Because like Brittany was just saying, there are over 300,000 Beachbody coaches. What is going to make you stand out? And to own that and be proud of that, because that's what makes you unique, and that's what's going to bring your dream clients to you. So the next thing I focus on after I kind of focus on my brand, and this is what I do with my coaches, let's focus on your brand, and then let's focus on your dream client. Envisioning who they are, really someone that's going to fuel your passion, and you're going to think, okay, this is why I'm doing what I do. For me, my journey has been a little different. I'm a military wife, and then before we got pregnant, we had multiple miscarriages, and so I talked about fertility and my experience with that, and then talking to pregnant moms, and really being pregnant has probably been the biggest thing for me, because I think about my daughter and I'm like, oh my gosh, I want her to thrive. I want her to succeed, and I don't want her to struggle with the body image issues and stuff. So I've kind of tweaked things along the way, and I think that that's a good thing to do, is kind of self-evaluate and see where you are. So your dream client, I don't know if anybody's on Katie Hefner's team, but I love her avatar training that she has. And it's not really training, it's just this little diagram that she has on Pinterest. And it's probably on her blog as well, but I would recommend looking that up. And encouraging your coaches to think of that dream client every time they post, because that's really when you're going to focus on your target market and your brand. And I think that's when this business becomes fun, because you're working with people that you really love to work with, that you're going to thrive, you're going to succeed, because you're not going to get burnt out by, people are going to be frustrating. We all have those clients. I probably was one of them too. But I don't know. It's great when you actually have people that you connect with and you have that emotional connection. And then thinking about your story. And this is something that I've really benefited from having Megan as my upline. She is an incredible storyteller. She tells her story a lot, and it's something that I've failed at. And stories, like, they stimulate emotion. I know we have Nate here as the male, but for most females, we're driven probably by that emotional connection. Maybe you are too. But you want your consumers to be connected to you with an emotion, and your story is that tool. That's how they're going to connect with you. And something that I've really thought about more so lately than, like I said, I don't share my story enough. Megan does a good job of this, and I've learned from her, but every post can have a story with it, and every post should be connecting with your target market, with your audience, and that's, with your brand. For me, we're about to go to Hawaii for a baby moon, and instead of posting, we're going to Hawaii for a baby moon, I can tell the story of, like, golly, because of Beachbody, we get to go to Hawaii, we get to remain debt-free, we get to do this, and telling that story will connect with people on an emotional level, more so than just, a post of beautiful Hawaii. So, and another one was, like, me taking my husband, he just works down the street on a base, and I can take him lunch anytime I want to. So I took a picture of me holding his lunch bag, and saying how I was so thankful I get to set my own hours and I get to go do this, and really making a story out of it instead of just a picture of me going to take him lunch, like thinking of your content as how can you connect with someone on that emotional level, and how is your story going to stimulate that emotion. So really, I think that just goes to remembering that we're more than just the fitness program. We're more than just the shake, more than just accountability groups. Like what is your story? What is your foundation? And what is that you have to offer? And really just creating the contagious content. So the other tip that I have, and I give my coaches, is to put your blinders on and stop following what everybody else is doing. That was something that when I was a brand new coach, Megan had a team. I was one of her first coaches, and she's like, oh yeah, just copy and paste what I put up. And I'm like, I can do that, but that's not me. I'm not this super fit mom like Megan was. I couldn't relate to her audience. And so I had to think about what my content was going to be and what I wanted my brand to be. And just knowing that, your brand, you're going to connect with people that maybe other people on your team aren't or whatever, but those strong emotional connections, when you start posting to your dream client, that's when they're going to come and they're going to build that trust, and they're going to start following along with your story, and they're going to want more. Like I said, you're going to create those lifers that keep coming back. And, for me, I have customers that have followed me for a year and a half and then finally decide to purchase a challenge pack because they want to build that trust. And ways to do that are through freemiums, adding the value by giving something to them. by thinking of what your target market is and doing it that way. And then just building the community, because people are the lifeline of your business. That's how we're going to succeed in this. And it's so easy to get wrapped up in the Success Club points and wanting to, reach a certain level, which is great. But focusing on those relationships first is great. And then I guess my biggest takeaway recently was from Amy Silverman. Megan and Amy did a training together. And she said, you're going to be successful because of you and your brand, not because of your training. If someone wants my training, I'll give it to them, because that's not what makes me successful. It's my brand. It's not what we have secrets behind the door, So think of it that way and know that you being you is the best thing that you can do for your business. And I try and tell that to my coaches all the time. And I look at their Facebook posts and I'm like, no, let's reevaluate. And I remember what it's like to be a brand new coach. But it's so important to really focus on that. And it does, I started as a coach when I was in Guam. And that was probably the best thing for me, because I had to sit down on Sundays and create a content calendar for the week, because my time was complete opposite of the United States. So when I wanted to, I had to schedule on my post, and my content was incredible because I was actually thinking through it rather than just putting up a random post that was trying to get some engagement or whatever. So sitting down, and that's something I encourage my coaches to do, is sit down and really think about your content, think about what you're going to post. You don't have to overthink it, but think about who you're targeting. And I think that's probably it. I talk really fast. Sorry.
No, that's awesome. You're good. Hey, you're good. No worries. That was awesome. So what questions do you coaches have for Miss Breen? Because that was amazing. Huge takeaway too, as far as Amy Silverman. That hits so strong, because you're absolutely right. It's not the training that you get. It's you being authentically you and unapologetically. I mean, that's Amy Silverman in a nutshell. She is so her, and that attracts people to her. So what questions do you guys have? Please unmute yourself and chat. Let's talk it up.
I have a question.
Yes.
Thank you so much for what you shared, first of all. That was such valuable information. I know just for me, I'm rethinking social media presence. So thank you. My question is, how do you take those coaches who have not been used to using Facebook for any other purpose than to vent and tell about their life, and they don't understand the concept of branding yourself and showing that presence of yourself as a helpful, giving person? How do you help them make that transition from having no social media know-how to branding themselves? I find that's really difficult for me to teach in my team.
Honestly, so for us, a big part of our team is, really continuing to be a challenger. And so I tell them, think about your story. Where have you come from? And start there. And then where are you going? And what has, for a lot of them, they'll announce they're a coach or whatever. And so they'll say, I started in this challenge group, but before that, this was kind of my backstory. For me personally, I'll share a little bit about my story to kind of give them hey, this is what I've done. And then this is what I did with Beachbody and how it's changed my life and what I'm doing now. Does that make sense? I kind of couldn't hear part of your question. Some noise.
Yeah, pretty much. I find that they're more comfortable sharing their story as far as how many pounds they've lost.
Mm-hmm.
Great physical stories of what they've overcome with certain programs. But when it actually comes to the branding and their real story behind the fitness transformation, seems to be really challenging for them, and getting vulnerable. And what helps you in that department?
Yeah, I think it is tough. It is a really vulnerable place to put yourself. And just building, that's where you're building confidence and encouraging them and supporting them, and, having the team rally behind them too, say, hey, I'll give a shout out, hey, Maggie just announced herself as a coach, or Maggie just made this post. Let's all go give her some encouragement. And really seeing them like build her up has helped, like that helps. Another way is just to honestly just doing it. Like, I know that doesn't help much and that's not much advice, but just doing it. And then thinking about, like, one thing we really focus on is, what is your target market? Like, what's your niche? Think about 5 things that you want to talk about, I guess, because I do encourage them, don't just talk about Beachbody. And I'm sure all of y'all are the same way. Like, please don't put up Beachbody billboards, but do post about other stuff that people can relate to, because someone might not relate to fitness. They might relate to your fashion post or your recipes or whatever. And that kind of helps them to break the ice of like, okay, well, maybe that will help. And, thinking, like I said, on that foundation, like, what are their strengths, their why, what are they like, what is their purpose? What do they feel strongly about? And for some, it might take a while. Like I said, for me, I was just like targeting a lot of military wives and had that kind of going for me. And then when I became pregnant, I was like, no, this is what I feel like I'm meant to do. Like, this is why I'm a coach. And so, it might take a while for them to figure out what they truly are passionate about, on a deeper level, I guess.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
Okay, there was a Beachbody coach that you named that did something on Pinterest, and then you talked about a training you did, and I missed both of those names. I couldn't understand.
Katie Hefner, she has some, and I can post it in our group, but she has some avatar, which I love it, but she's like literally named her person that she, like her dream client. She has a name, she has an age, she has all these qualities. And that's like every time she posts to that person.
Oh, okay.
So her content is more streamlined to like, who she wants to work with essentially and who she's passionate about.
Okay. And then what was the training that you said you went through? I think.
Oh, it's, and I'll post that in the group too. It's through Hey Sweet Pea.
Sweet Pea?
Hey Sweet Pea.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
For me, I mean, I'm sure like Shalene Johnson offers marketing impact or whatever, but I kind of wanted to do something that not all Beachbody coaches were doing, if that makes sense. I'm sure I love Shalene. She's great. I'm not discounting her training, but for me, I connected more with Hey Sweet Pea and what they had to offer.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
What other questions do you coaches have? And even like, how did she get to the ranking that she's at? How did she hit all of our elite points for the year? How did she recruit? I mean, let's look at this. She's so highly ranked. What is she doing? So what questions does that spark?
I have a question.
Yeah.
How many hours are you working a day?
So Megan recently called me out on the Best of the West call. So I'm pregnant. I take naps. I love them. Honestly, work maybe 4 hours a day. And I will say, like, for the next few months, I'll probably work a little bit more to build up to delivery. And I know that I'll have some time off for then, but I've never worked crazy long hours. I just kind of, I'm very much an emerald and a task list. Like, I do what I need to do and be done kind of person.
Perfect. Good to know.
Where do you recruit most of your coaches from?
Challenge groups.
I mean, like, where, what platform? Where's your source?
Oh, well, so I mainly use Facebook. I have an Instagram account, but it's mainly personal. Like, and I've had some rock star coaches come from Instagram, but that I just use honestly as a personal connection, so they can kind of see my life. Like, and I'll do occasional Beachbody posts over there, but I don't do a ton of probably how most people use Instagram for Beachbody.
Right.
I've had a like page since I started, so I do, a lot on there. Just being consistent on social media has been huge. And then I've just been in my warm market for the past 2 years of and referrals have been huge. And I think that just comes with like, you know, giving the positive experience, giving the positive place where people want to refer their friends to.
Yeah.
So
You said referrals have been huge. Where do you ever, like, whenever you sign a challenger, do you mention that if they refer someone, they get, like, do you offer an incentive or anything like that?
No, I do always say, like, hey, do you have anybody that might want to join you? I say like something like, it's always more fun when we do this together with friends or family.
Yeah.
And occasionally I'll offer an incentive, but you know, like I did a Fix Aid cookbook giveaway or something, but I don't give back commission or anything like that.
Okay, cool.
I have another question. Okay, on your challenge group, do you have certain criteria? Do they have to have purchased a challenge pack, or?
Yes, a challenge pack's a requirement.
Okay, and do you have one that you mainly use?
No, I love the 21-day fix just because I think nutrition's the biggest issue for most people. And I think it's a very easy program to follow. So that's usually my go-to, but I always talk to them and ask them what are you looking for? What are your goals? And then based off that, and I never, honestly, like, the sales are awesome. And when 21-day fix is on sale, it's really great, but I never do my promotion, like I never push a product just because it's on sale that month. I really try and focus on what their needs are. So.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
I have a question. Okay, so we're all 3-star diamonds and you are almost at elite. So, I mean, my elite points are probably negative right now. So, because it's very interesting you say this is something that, it's interesting how we're told, the foundation of beginning your business is Success Club. But then we get wrapped up in Success Club. But to be elite, you have to hit Success Club and teach your coaches to hit Success Club. And of course, it's the focus. And I say it over and over again. Even when I do my Success Club recognition, I say each point represents a life helped. I try to make that because, people in the outside world see these numbers and think something else, but irrelevant. How did you get your volume? How did you get, obviously just found you found your client if you have the numbers.
Sorry, I can't hear.
I can't hear. Can someone, whoever that is, mute, please?
I'll mute.
Thanks. Awesome. So what has made the difference in this year for you to?
I'll be honest, when it comes to elite stuff, I sat down the first time I met Brittany and Doug. I think y'all pulled out my elite numbers or something. And I'm like, I'm not a math person. Like, I don't know. And I did track my Success Club earners, but that's the only thing I know how to track when it comes to elite stuff. I started the year off really strong and I recruited 8 new coaches in January. And I think that helped me a ton.
Of course. Okay.
And honestly, it's just about your coaches hitting Success Club.
Of course. I mean,
and how you get your coaches there, I don't know. Last month was an absolute bust for us. It was terrible. I
had a lot of people struggle. I know August is bad.
But I think just, I really focus on getting started on day one of the month and say and every month I'll post a team calendar of when our challenge groups are, and say hey, let's start today and start reaching out to people. And I guess that's helped. I don't know what's different this year versus last year, to be honest. I think I had all my elite points last year too. I just didn't have the diamonds. So.
But I think you even said it, Breen, you got your coaches started right at the beginning of the year, and that's really what it comes down to.
Everybody says that. You got to start January 1.
You do. And then you have it in the bag, and then, you just go, well, not in the bag, but then you still have to work hard, but you get those coaches started right, and then it starts duplicating. I think that's what it comes down to.
Absolutely. Okay.
Yeah. What other questions do we have?
I was going to say, this is Daphne. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so given that you have had for People Go Diamond this year, and along the lines of getting your coaches started right, how are you creating that vision for those new coaches, especially people who aren't very familiar with Beachbody, don't really know, what the opportunities are? Because I feel like where I fail is I either don't create the vision enough and they don't push hard towards their goals, or I get so excited and I hype it all up and they go, whoa, I can't do that. That's, it's like I overwhelm them. So how do you create that vision? Of course, it has to be their goals, but I'm just trying to find that balance.
Honestly, like one of them that went diamond is such a people person, and she's that person that you want to, like, she was my best friend since kindergarten. I would have signed up with her as a coach just because she's so loving and genuine, and I just, she was a rock star from day one, and I knew she would go diamond just because she attracts so many people. And it wasn't, I think she knows what diamond is, but she's not focused on necessarily the rank diamond. She's focused on helping as many people and sharing. She's done a really good job of sharing coaching and what coaching has done. Another one has a strong desire to leave her job and do Beachbody full time. And so that's driven her, and she knows what she needs to do to get there. That's we all know you have to have a strong team. You have to recruit coaches to build the volume. And that's really where, all the magic happens with your team cycle bonuses and stuff. So helping them see that and building the excitement of don't stop at Emerald, don't stop at Ruby, but really keep going. And, we have fun incentives like leadership retreats that Megan's opened up to our entire downline and stuff like that a lot of them are pushing for as well, that they have to be diamond for. So I think that helps. Just finding out what their gem was big. One of them is a Ruby, and she's all about recognition. So she wanted to get there. I don't really have any secrets to share. I wish I did, but it's just, honestly, you're going to have those go-getters and you're going to have some that just take a little bit longer.
Can I add on to that? Because I think you hit it. It's so, first and foremost, it's asking your coaches obviously what their why is. But I will tell you something, as being a personal trainer, what really helps too is asking them what their negative why is. So you said one of your coaches wants to leave her job. That is a negative why, meaning she never wants to go back to that. Or you never want to go back to the point where you have to fight to get groceries for your kids or for your family. Like, if you focus on, yes, we have this big why and what we're working towards, but if you focus on a negative why, what do they never want to go back to? And you hold them accountable to that. And that's what I did with my weight loss clients when I was a personal trainer, when I was training actual clients. And I promise you it works, because we forget that. Mm-hmm. We focus on the big and what the glorious things we're working towards, but sometimes we forget about why we don't want to go back to that. Yeah. So I challenge you to ask your coaches, hey, let's revisit it. What's your why? Okay, perfect. Now what's your negative why? What do you never want to go back to? What do you never want to feel? And I promise you something will spark. And if you get tears, it's probably their negative why. I don't want to put your coaches in tears, but literally it will put you into tears, right? And that's a good thing, because then you can hold them accountable. Just say, I never want to see you hurt like that again. Okay? Woo! That's my personal training background coming out, Jeff. Okay.
I have a quick
I'm on my soapbox. Go ahead.
How many coaches are you signing a month, and what's your goal as far as how many of your personally sponsored coaches get Success Club?
Oh, I would have to look back and see. This past month, my goal is usually 3 coaches. And after talking with Brittany a few weeks ago, I'm going to bump that up. And try and get, and like I said, in the beginning of the year, I signed up 8, and then I think I signed up 5 or so. Mm-hmm. And so it's just like, 3 would be my minimum. And then obviously more would be better. With at least one of those being an active working coach. I do offer being a military spouse, the discount is a big thing for us. And then how many hit Success Club? Was that
Yeah, how many of your coaches are getting Success Club every month?
I think, honestly, in the beginning, in the beginning of the year, it was huge. Maybe the past month or 2 has been 3 to 5. It hasn't been a ton.
So that explains why you're maxed out. And as far as you said, you know, if you're signing between 3 and 5 coaches a month, they must be doing pretty well with retail if you're already maxed out with PS volume, because that only counts as the coaches for this month. I mean, for this year, right?
I don't know how to track all that, so Brittany would be.
You know why she's so successful is because she averages around 5 coaches hitting Success Club every single month for the past year, 7 months. So
Okay.
the biggest reason, you know, she's teaching the system and she's getting them to get their products paid for and to help 3 people.
Cool.
But yeah, I mean, but with her recruiting tactic, yeah, she's recruiting 3 and she's finding a rock star out of those 3.
Yeah.
That number is ridiculous. It normally doesn't happen that way, but that's also her upline. Megan recruits 3 to 5 and she finds a rock star. But
Megan recruits like 30 to 40.
yeah, but she knows her number. So she knows out of, you know, those 30 to 40, how many of those coaches are going to be rock stars.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
We have time
Brittany,
for
I have a question for you.
Yeah. What's up, Tammy? I know you know that voice.
Okay. Sorry. As far as like right now, I mean, where should you be if you're, how do you know if you're on target for elite? Like how many points should you have had when you got your last?
Great question. So I'm going to pull up my phone because the easiest way, so you need 135 points, right? So
Yes.
we're going to divide that by 12. So on average, you need about 11.25 points per year or per month. My head cold's kind of getting to me, so these numbers sound crazy. I warn you. So 11.25 is what you need to be averaging. So for example, my coaches that are on target right now should be around 79 points and above to hit elite. But you need to remember there's 3 categories, right? So basically PS, PP, you know, you can cap that category at 61. Obviously SC, you'll cap that category at 61. But ATV is sometimes the harder category because we don't start building volume until later in the year. As long as you have a minimum of 130,000 that you gross over last year, that will give you 13 points. That's the minimum in the ATV. You will hit it. So that's all you need is 130,000 over last year, which is 13 ATV points. Could you do that later in the year? Absolutely. Don't forget about your 2 diamond coaches and then, of course, 5-star diamond. But you need to hit all those categories, and really it comes down to the 3 vitals. I mean, that's really what it comes down to is inviting, and really teaching them how, first and foremost, to hit Success Club and get their products paid for.
Okay.
So yeah, so I mean, we can go over your numbers individually and see exactly where you're at because everybody is different, but I like to see exactly where you're trending as far as volume goes, you know, because most coaches have the PSPV and the SC kind of in the bag. It's just the volume that we kind of need to look at.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, sweetie. So I'll reach out to you. We'll set a time to go over your numbers, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions on that?
Can I share something?
Yeah.
I don't know if this will help, but just we've been talking about like our vision and, you know, hitting Success Club and everything. And those of you who know me know that I'm a teacher at heart. But one of the things that has been going well for my team is in sharing our individual visions and kind of creating a team vision. We found that despite the maybe slight or major differences in our individual visions, the steps to get there are still the same. So despite what your why is, what my why is, to get there, we all still need to complete the same steps, the same activities, those business building activities. So in my team page, our cover photo is, I don't know, there's somewhere between 15 and 20. Basically, you know, we talk about those 3 vital behaviors, and yeah, it says 3-star diamonds. They may seem like old news to us, but as new coaches are plugged into my team nonstop, they need to see those. So those activities are my cover photo, and every month I have a Google Doc spreadsheet with all the coaches' names and then just the date. And the activities are numbered. And the girls go in at the end of each day, and next to their name and the date, they plug in those numbers. So like some are literally, did you drink your Shakeology? Did you do your workout? Did you do PD? did you invite? Then it goes to all the way, like one is, did you attend a live event, whether that's Super Saturday or like, I went to a training with a nutritionalist. Maybe I went to a live class to support one of my coaches who got certified to train something or whatever. Just there's, like I said, I have about 15 or 20 on there, and the girls track those. And then all I have to do is go in and see when somebody comes to me like, oh, Allison, I'm struggling hitting Success Club. And I immediately pull up my spreadsheet and I'm like, okay, well, you did 2 things yesterday. And like one of them was pick your nose. Like, let's talk about this a little bit. So that's something that has helped because it lets me know what every person is doing daily. From did they do at least 10 minutes of PD? And some of them like, I had a lot of girls because it's yesterday was Monday. And then today, like, one of them's like, did you just share a motivational quote with a little story? Did you do like, one is like, did you shout out a coach or a challenger? Just little ideas for them. Some are activities, some are posting ideas. And I switch it up month to month just so they don't get bored with the same things. But it is nice to see what they're doing. And when there's an empty day or two, then I know like, okay, somebody didn't try, it's kind of like, instead of them sending me their bat, it's all right there for me to see with like things they're doing together. And that has helped because nobody loves an empty box. Do you know what I mean? Like when when everybody can see it because they all have access to this Google Doc, right? So they know that as their teammates are going in and recording, their activities and what they've done, then they can see, they know other people can see if they're not pulling their own weight. So I don't know if that'll help you guys, but my team seems to love it. And it doesn't take too long to set up. Like I said, we just put up the activities on our banner and then I just make a spreadsheet and literally like each day I'll look and they might have, and it might say like 1, 2, 7, 9, 15. That's what they did today. And then I just refer back to my thing and I can say, okay, they invited 3, they formed, they added 2 new people to their friends list, and they did their workout. So
great way to create a habit.
Right.
Yeah.
I love that, Allison. Is that for your whole team or just for your personally sponsored coaches?
I don't have a big team. I haven't been doing this for very long. So like it's my personally sponsored coaches and really anyone in my downline that they add in, but that really only amounts to like 50 of us.
So cool. And if you're competitive like me, I'd be like, dude, I'm getting another one on the board. Like I make sure that I'm, getting it done. And what happens? It makes you successful. So if you have people that are competitive and want to, mark it off and show that they're doing it, in the end, it just makes them successful, but it creates an amazing habit.
Yeah. And you guys can keep talking, but I can pull it up if you want to just see an example of what the cover photo looks like. So
cool. And I'll just kind of close it up because we're getting to the end here. So yeah, go ahead and pull that up. But one of the things in this business, as hard as it is to do, it can be your biggest strength is being vulnerable and being you. So Breen hit that so hard on the head, but honestly, being vulnerable, being the one that kind of sets your foot out there, because all of these top coaches, honestly, they are unapologetically them, and that's what makes them successful. So I love how you said that, Breen. It's not the amount of training that's going to make you successful. It's what you're going to do to be you that's going to attract others to you and make you successful. So there's just a couple of things that I'm going to put on our 3-Star Diamond group. And basically, one of the first things is I want you guys to focus on your strengths. Thank you, Breen, for bringing that up, because I think so many times we focus on our weaknesses and what makes us the person we are, but let's focus on our strengths, because you start focusing on your strengths, you are going to start attracting people like you, and you will be happy to work with them. It'll be fun. It'll be exciting. Also, how are you going to tell your story differently now? So I'm going to ask you those kind of 2 questions. What are you going to do to be positive and be you and focus on the positivity? And then how are you going to tell your story a little differently now, being unapologetically you? Okay, Allison, you can go ahead and share that if you would like to do so.
Okay, let me see here.
And Breen, amazing call and took a ton of great notes. I absolutely loved it, so thank you.
Yeah, thank y'all so much. I'm sorry if I talked really fast.
No, you're great. You're great. Awesome.
So does that give you guys an idea? And like I said, each month I'll, swap some things out or whatever. But, like I said, some of these are just based at posting ideas or, business building activities. But then from there, and I can put this photo in there if you guys want to pull in our 3-star diamond page, if you guys, just to have as an example. But then let me see if I can show you guys this real quick. Give me a second here. I'm not tech savvy, and so
neither am I, so you're good.
Bear with me. Nothing I do is really pretty, but it works. So you guys can see this is the start of September, so it's still pretty empty. But the girls are literally starting to come in, and they start plugging in the numbers as the day goes. And I have, working coaches. So this usually each month it doesn't start filling up until the evenings. But that's it. That's as simple as it is. It's just a Google Doc that they come in as the day goes, and they just start plugging in their numbers, and then I just scroll through the pages, and I break it up into days, chunks of 10, and then once those, that's gets me through to September 10th, and then I print that off, hang on to that, and then I make, the 11th through the 20th, and we go again, and it just, I don't like waiting till the end of the month because that's too late. Do you know what I mean? I like it in days of 10 to kind of keep tabs on my gang. But like I said, I don't know if that'll help. I'm certainly no expert at this, but I just thought I'd share it.
That's awesome. Well, thank you everybody so much for jumping on this call. It was amazing. Thank you once again, Breen. You did an amazing job. And I'm excited for this. I'm excited for you guys. The whole point of these calls is just to put them into action. So from here, try something a little bit different. If not, we feel like we're on that hamster wheel. Try something different. Try to be more authentically you, whatever it is, and put yourself out there. But more importantly, teach your team to do the same thing so it duplicates. And you start having, the most important thing is that you get your coaches more successful than you. That will be the biggest compliment that you will ever have for yourself is when they supersede you and go on so much further, so much stronger because you believed in them. You taught them the way, and they were truly themselves. Okay? So you guys all have a great, great day. Thanks once again, Breen, and we'll talk to you all next week, okay?
Thank you.
Bye, guys.